Hey YouTube, Ryan Straver here with another video on my mini survival kit. It's just a tin that held my little knives I bought from Buck. So basically I've got some Velcro holding it together and some electrical tape. I'll just get that undone for you. And this tin can be used to boil water. It's not much, but you know, it's something. And that's what it's all about, really, using what you got with you. So I'll just go ahead and get this tape off that's meant to keep this waterproof. Set it aside over here. And open her up. Now it's kind of packed. You can really see that. It's packed quite well. So I'll just go through it with you. First thing I'll go through is some cotton swabs or balls wrapped in jelly. Kind of squished it there for room sake, and I put that in a little baggie. Takes a spark real well. Next thing, go through all the fire stuff first, is some dryer lint. Don't have to do much to that. It'll take a spark real easy. I got a baggie full of that stuff. Next I got some sawdust. I know what you're thinking, why do you got sawdust? It's kind of weird. But that on its own will take a spark quite well. And I put a little bit of jelly in there as well to increase my insurance, I guess. Next up is some char cloth. Got a fair amount here. Y'all know what char cloth is. And that'll take a spark really easy. Put that in a bird's nest. It'll go up like nothing. And next is some matches in a waterproof match case with the striker taped to the side. Don't need to go into detail about that. Next I got some fire logs. Smell real good, and light that on fire with a lighter, a match, and it'll burn for a long time. So you won't really need to make a bird's nest. You could just, stick a couple of thin twigs around it. Once you get your fire going, you can start adding the fuel. And then last for fire is this Bear Grylls Gerber fire steel with a whistle, and it works decently well. Just wanted to show you a little tip or trick I found with this. It's back up probably, but when striking it, I first would just go like that, but I found using the leading edge works a lot better, and I'll demonstrate that for you. So this is the back edge, which isn't so good, doesn't really work that well. Take the leading edge and so much better. So a little tip or trick there, in case you might have had trouble with that, and you'll figure that out on your own, trial and error. Next up is Bear Grylls Survival Kit, the basics, priorities of survival. Somewhat handy if you're in twist and you can't really remember whatever you researched or learned. And some duct tape, a very useful cordage. It can be used for multiple things, even as a band-aid if you need it. And I got this little surgical blade, which isn't exactly a good knife, but it will do some things for you, even medically. Maybe cutting cordage or something along those lines. Next up is I got button compass. Not the greatest compass. Kind of gotta tap it a couple times to make it work. And I really do gotta invest in a better one. But there you go. Flat surface, right? Okay. Next up is a needle and thread. Very important if you gotta make repairs or even sew up a cut or whatever. Next up is a condom. To capture some water, bring it back to your shelter, try and boil it in a tin like this, or your stove or what have you. Next up is a little handheld fire bow, or excuse me, just a saw, and it's cheap. I was thinking about getting the better one. It actually has the sawtooth blades on it because these are known to break, but you can also use it as a snare wire. It's not really much, but that's what they say you can use it for. And these little handles on it. There you go. Next up is the ends of matches, excuse me, and it's just some easy wood if you can't find any in the outdoors. Next up is some water purification tablets. If you can't boil your water, this is your next option. After that, I got a little multi-tool. It's a cool little thing. I found Bass Pro. Could be quite useful. Got a couple blades on there. No saw, but you know, it'll work. It'll get some of your tasks done if you don't have anything with you. Then I got this little knife, which came in this tin. It's a buck knife, really nice looking knife. And the other one with 3 blades is in my backpack wherever I go. Next up is a signal mirror. There you go. And that's useful for obvious reasons. And then after that is a magnifying glass, or credit card magnifier. And I really gotta get another one of these. I don't like this. You know, it's good for reading, but it's no good for starting fire at all. It's not concave. So that's one thing I do have to get. Another thing I gotta get is a little lighter, just to stick in here. And so I got some bobby pins that could be useful for repairs, quick repairs, or maybe even for medical uses to kind of stitch up wounds. And then after that, I got a fair amount of tin foil for boiling water, maybe use it as a space blanket, excuse me. And I'm sure there's other uses for that as well. After that, I got a little medical kit, first aid kit, just some alcohol swabs. I even got a little hand towelette in there. It'll also do the same thing. I got some bandages in the back. And I got some snare wire. Very useful. You can use this quarters to make shelter, or you can catch animals. And this is my little fishing kit. Don't really need to go through it, but I will. Just dump that in the tin. So you got some fake bait. You got a float. You got some multicolored hook there. A little attractive fish. Everything's getting all stuck up on each other. Another larger hook. Smaller hook. It's always good to have multiples. A even larger hook. Some bait tie. It's not actual fishing line, it's bait tie. And I got some fishing line and some stronger fishing line. Like I said, it's always good to have more than one. And I got some weights in here. Only 2. 2 very small weights. That's what you use the multi-tool for. Tie them down. But yeah, that's my survival kit. Everything is pretty much here except maybe cover. The compass is finally working. It was just surrounded by metal. Obviously it's going to take away its accuracy by that. But there you go. That's my little survival kit. I'll take away the Velcro, obviously from the bottom if I was going to use it to cook, or boil water, excuse me. But thanks for watching, and comment, rate, what have you. Have a good one, guys.